Sussex now. Do you remember that awful moment earlier in the year that will go down as one of the worst of 2025 when Meghan Markle was berating one of her so-called BFFs, Mindy Kaling, who indeed she really didn't know? Well, all of a sudden, Harry seems to have done a total reversal on that. Because on this bizarre boys' trip with Nacho Figueras before Christmas, without the children, without Meghan Markle, with a lot of performance-enhancing substitutes, all legal, of course, I am sure, seeming to be consumed, Harry has decided no, despite everything his wife has said, he's not going to be known as Harry Sussex on the polo pitch, but rather Harry Wales, just like his big bro. But Harry didn't do anything to correct the record there. And Tash, as you say, Harry was called Harry Wales when his father was the Prince of Wales. Now Prince William is the Prince of Wales. His children, Princes George and Louis and Princess Charlotte, are known as Wales. I honestly believe he is doing it to be petty and to further provoke his brother. That would be extraordinary, Tash.
It's true. What other purpose? I mean, these people...
Well, can I put one theory out?
Yeah. Go on.
To humiliate his wife? To prove that actually, in public, he does sometimes want to go against her? Do you remember that podcast earlier in the year when he's like, I think parents really are responsible if they put their children on social media at all? I just think we're seeing the splits in public more and more. But I also understand what you're saying too.
Yeah, I mean, I like that theory, Dan. A little bit of passive aggressiveness, you think, going on. A little bit of...
Because he's scared of her, isn't he?
Yeah, there is that. I mean, it's obvious it's deliberate. It's obvious that that name was given. People have known Harry for years not to be Wales. You can say, oh, it's the commentator, but they had plenty of time from calling him Harry Wales when he first went onto the pitch to have it corrected before the end. You would have thought that Harry would have gone, oh, no, get that changed. He didn't, which means he clearly was happy with being called Wales. So, yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of column A and a bit of column B. Yes, I do believe, I think that's a great theory, Dan, that he could just be doing it to show a little bit of balls towards his wife, saying, you know, I don't want to be known as Harry Sussex. But then, yeah, at the same time, it's definitely going to infuriate Prince William. This is the name that his children go by. This needs nipping in the bud. I don't know what it will take.
It's humiliating. It's humiliating for Meghan. It's humiliating for the royal family. But I can't believe that she spent such a big part of the year, Tash, going on about this goddamn last name. You know, first it was with Mindy Kaling, and that was really the lead story from the With Love Meghan launch. They knew that was going to be the big mic drop moment, you know, her berating this Hollywood comedian for getting her name wrong and hoping that the world would stop calling her Meghan Markle, when in fact the only people who have are the total shills. People like Narinder Kaur now call her Meghan Sussex. No one else is buying it. But then do you remember she even sat down for that Bloomberg interview months later in Montecito and kept on going on about the last name? But we knew it was bullshit, and clearly Harry knows it's bullshit too.
Every time we think the royal drama's cooled off, another twist drops, and this one's a scorcher. Prince Harry, the man who literally walked away from the most famous family on earth, is reportedly shaking things up again. This time by changing his last name. Now, that might sound small, but for a Windsor, it's practically revolutionary. It's like telling Buckingham Palace, thanks for the heritage, but I'm going to go my own way now. And judging by the reactions, that independence isn't sitting well with everyone, especially not his big brother. Dan's energy is all over this one, equal parts shock and delight, and according to Taz, a royal YouTube powerhouse, doesn't hold back. These two don't just talk about the royals. They dissect them like a national sport.
I mean, there was a big thing, wasn't it, that they wanted to make sure that their children's passports reflected the name Sussex, Prince and Princess of Sussex, that Meghan wanted to make sure she did go on a bit, didn't she, about the importance of sharing the last name with their children. And we thought at the time perhaps it was because they've caught wind that they will lose the title. So now Meghan is trying to cement the name as her children's actual surname. And then for Harry, obviously, Harry doesn't care if he's got the same surname as his wife and children, if you take it as he's now insisting that he's called Wales somewhere. It's it's certainly a mic drop moment. Could it have been done by Harry for extra attention? Could it be done him flipping, as it were, the middle finger to his wife? Could it be to upset the royal family? Perhaps it's a little bit of everything, but it certainly undermines Meghan this year, constantly going about the importance of taking the name Sussex as a surname. And Harry's like, just call me Harry Wales. Yeah. I can't imagine what it would be like to be a fly on the wall when he got back after that trip.
What are you doing to me? What are you doing to me?
Yeah.
But Tash, let's take a look at Harry during this event, because a lot of people were saying when this video came out yesterday, Tash, that he was looking pretty bleary-eyed, looking pretty wired, quite surprised that he would be in front of the cameras in that sort of state. Tom Sykes of The Royalist, who was on the show yesterday, suggested that perhaps this could be down to legal drug use because, of course, marijuana is now legal in California. But it was just really surprising, wasn't it, to see Harry looking worse for wear, but at the same time, so much more relaxed than when he is in public with his wife.
Yeah, it's a tough one, really. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't like to speculate
No, of
with
course not.
Harry. Perhaps he's just got a cold because there
Totally.
was so much snow on the
Totally.
slopes, you know? But he does behave very differently when he's not with Meghan. But if Meghan was there, she would have been straight on that stage, shoving people out of the way, making sure that she was the center of attention. And Harry almost seems quite happy to take the back seat with other people. He's not actually, unless he's with Meghan, he does let people, he does stand in with other people side by side, whereas before Meghan pushes him to the front so they can be the center of attention. And Harry, he's just, it's hard to say because he's so different from the man that we thought who he was before he met Meghan. And we've seen this gradual, well, I suppose in one way it's been rather quick, but someone who was incredibly confident to someone now who doesn't look that confident. Harry just seems like he'd rather be blending into the background. Relaxed, yes, there is that, but also someone that perhaps doesn't seem quite as confident as he was all of those years ago. So yeah, I guess Meghan's finally beaten the last shred of confidence out of him, and now he just looks like a he looks like he's unkempt a lot of the time, doesn't he? He looks just like he's just got out of snoozing in the back of the car when we see him. He definitely looks like that he could be medicated one way or another.
And Tash, lots of people just really finding the timing of this trip bizarre anyway.
Mm.
You posted this close to Christmas and he doesn't take the children? All the fun he had as a child on the slopes, skiing with his parents, yet he doesn't take his own kids to do fun activities. They have nannies. Leave the kids with nannies whilst playing polo or let them watch their dad play. It's so bizarre.
They dive into what might be the most symbolic move Harry's made since Megxit. Forget interviews, forget Netflix specials. A name change hits at the heart of identity. This is Harry saying, I'm not defined by your lineage anymore. And if you know anything about the monarchy, that's a line they don't like crossed. Here's the kicker. The royal family doesn't even use traditional surnames like most of us. Historically, they've gone by Mountbatten Windsor when necessary. But for Harry to tweak or drop that connection, that's a declaration. It's him saying, I'm not just the spare, I'm my own man now. Symbolically, it's huge. The Windsors have spent generations maintaining a single, spotless image. Harry's move splinters that narrative.
And do you think this is all down to his total obsession with the children not being seen, or is there something deeper here?
I mean, it's becoming more obvious that there's something definitely not normal with not seeing the children anywhere. He never takes them to watch him play polo, but is quite happy to pose with other people's children. And polo is quite a family orientated event, but there's never any paparazzi photographs. Now, I know America, USA, Australia, they have stricter laws, but you've got a lot of foreign paparazzi that do not have that. They take the hit, they publish the pictures and worry about a lawsuit later. But there's never anything. They never seem to be taking the children anywhere where they can be spotted by paparazzi, by members of the public. You don't even get shots of the children with their faces pixelated. The only photographs we ever really have of the children are the carefully curated, completely contrived ones that Meghan obviously has released, or if they're trying to merch something, you know, a surf school, for example. And the children, this isn't just their little babies and toddlers anymore. This has been a large number of years. And I do understand why there are so many conspiracy theories out there, but I also think that Harry and Meghan are fueling them, perhaps on purpose, perhaps it is Harry's own paranoia, but by hiding the children in the way that they do and never taking them somewhere like skiing. You know, they would have loved doing that as he did as a child. I think that he is creating more of a media target on his children's backs than what he ever had put on his as a child, with his mother and his father and being born into the royal family. He is going to create those children's lives to be an utter paranoid misery, because once they do get old enough to go out, then it's going to be a field day.
Totally. I mean, I could not agree more in terms of that analysis, Tash. And again, I just looked at this video and I looked at Harry and what he thinks is him in his element. But I thought, God, you're actually a really sad man. You're a sad man now. I mean, it's ironic. He called me a sad little man. I look at his life and I view him as a sad little man now. His world has become small. He has become little. And these were types of events that you could get away with as a hardworking royal whose primary focus was humanitarian, whose primary focus was trying to do good in the world. And now this is his primary focus. And it's sad.
Yeah.
It really is sad. But look, the other thing that is absolutely terrible, Tash, and we have new developments on this, is the treatment of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, of Thomas Markle, Meghan's father, who remains in a hospital in Cebu in the Philippines just before Christmas. And you'll remember that at the weekend, it was actually Meghan Markle who briefed to Roy Anika, the royal editor at the Sunday Times, that the relationship with her dad was over for good. The story was vile. It made it clear that Meghan had berated her father in this letter, hadn't provided any hope that there was a path back to reconciliation, a path back for him to meet his grandchildren for the first time one day. And Thomas Markle Jr., Meghan's brother and Thomas Markle Sr.'s son, has now responded to this on his own YouTube channel, Thomas Markle Jr. and Friends.
It forces people to ask, if one of them doesn't want to be a Windsor, what does that say about the brand? And of course, there's Prince William, the heir, the future king, the guy who's been trained since birth not to blink in public. Reports say he's furious, but beneath the headlines, there's something deeper. It's not just sibling rivalry, it's philosophical. William represents continuity, duty, the system. Harry represents rebellion, the refusal to play the game. When your brother, your lifelong partner in royal duty, suddenly ditches the family name, it's not just personal, it's existential. It's like watching the monarchy itself split down the middle. And here we go again. No royal controversy is complete without Meghan's name getting dragged through the mud.
I just find it really disgusting. Disgusting that somebody has to steal the spotlight and try and get attention. Because what? I mean, from what I understand and read in what was it, the London Times, she wants nothing to do with her father ever again. Ever.
Thomas Markle Jr. revealed that not one dime from Meghan's fat-ass purse has been sent to pay for her father's medical treatment. Watch.
The hearsay and the fake news about donated a large sum of money to the hospital. Well, no, that never happened. You know, that would have been nice the other day when I had to go in there and pay, you know, another $3,000 and then sign a promissory note for another $2,000 That would have been nice had those just been all just like brushed away. I would have been like, no way. There is no way any of that crap could be true. And no, I was right, because it's not. Not one nickel. Not one nickel from the swamp donkey. Nothing. Which is just mind-boggling. I want to make it very clear that the entire world knows. Not one nickel. Not one nickel. Even after the, $500,000 that my dad broke his ass for her clothes, her partying money, her partying supplies, her cars, her entertainment, her private schools, her trips, her college. I mean, come on. Oh, Daddy, you took some pictures with the paparazzi and you talked to the press. Just like I do every day, but you're not allowed to. Seriously, that's the reason. Unbelievable.
And Thomas wanted to make sure that the point had reached yours truly.
Make damn sure, especially Dan Wooten, right? Because you take every one of my videos, and a lot of other people do. But make damn sure that you pointed out. I want to be very, very specifically clear on this point. Not one nickel. Not one nickel.
Trust me, Thomas, we get the message. We get the message loud and clear. She is tight, and she's treated your dad terribly. Indeed, Thomas here illustrates his despicable half-sister perfectly.
The moment Harry sneezes, the tabloids accuse her of handing him the tissue. But let's be real, this pattern reveals more about us than her. The public still can't separate Harry's decisions from Meghan's influence. Whether she had anything to do with this or not, she'll be branded as the mastermind. And that tells you everything about how uncomfortable people are with a woman, especially one who doesn't fit the traditional royal mold, holding any kind of power in that institution. That phrase, pretend royals, cuts deep, but it's also kind of fascinating. Because it raises a question the monarchy hasn't had to answer in centuries. What actually makes someone royal? If it's bloodline, Harry still has that. If it's duty, he walked away from it.
To walk around with that blank, empty, soulless eye look, like no matter what picture it is, it's like every picture she takes has the same empty, soulless, black, empty eyes. There is nothing behind those eyes.
I mean, Tash, I do think what is important here is for Thomas Markle Jr. to just paint the reality of the situation the Markle family continues to face. And that reality is they're going in, having to try and find money to pay for Thomas Markle's hospital bills. The treatment ain't cheap. And that, to me, is an extraordinary moment, because think about this, Tash. Meghan had the ability, in order to get the letter into the hospital, she had the ability to get someone to film her father in the hospital bed. So she's dealing with the hospital staff, according to Caroline Graham in the Mail on Sunday. It was the president of the hospital who actually came into the room unannounced, even though Tom had his amputated leg on display. She had to cover it for dignity. Now, there would be something pretty easy that she could do if she was half decent, remembering the type of money that she's made, Tash, over the past 5 years, even though we think they're pretty tight because of their lavish spending. She could easily have said, and all the hospital bills come to me. And it would still be a tiny drop in the ocean for her. And I think that's why Thomas Markle Jr. is making this point. Sure, there has been communication, but there hasn't been a nickel.
I mean, I cannot well, the anger and the frustration he must feel anyway, because Meghan has turned this whole thing into being about her, the amount of coverage that she's had since their father went into hospital, nearly died, had his leg amputated. It's become yet again the Meghan Markle show, because she is the one that has been briefing the press every step of the way. She's the one that told the media that she will be writing a letter. We were then told it was a handwritten letter. We were then told by her spokesperson that the letter had been safely delivered. Then we were told by her spokesperson, the public were then informed, the contents of the letter through Roya Nicker. Then it was of course posted through various outlets that Meghan has made it very clear that she will have nothing to do with her father. So Meghan has played this game. She's done nothing but continuous press releases. There has not been a teeny fragment of concern or care for her father. Now, I said this in one of my videos because I was so angry. The man is still in hospital. He has got a weak heart, and he is still receiving treatment. And I mean, I hope not, but it could turn at any day.
In the modern world, where image is everything, royalty is as much about perception as protocol. And Harry and Meghan, they've built a brand that rivals the palace's reach. They just swapped crowns for camera lenses. It's not pretend, it's rebranded. And the fact that their version of royalty is thriving outside the palace walls, that's what really rattles the establishment. The outrage machine kicked in fast. Within hours, the tabloids were screaming betrayal, royal fans were lighting up comment sections, and the cycle of blame was in full swing. It's the same formula every time: controversy, outrage, analysis, clickbait. The British press has turned royal tension into its own economy. The truth barely matters. It's the spectacle that sells.
She then stressed him out by telling the world, and he would have been reading this on his phone, that he was going to finally hear from his daughter, to have the officials come into the hospital to see him. The stress that that would have caused him to only then be dumped cruelly by his daughter, and it then to be worldwide news that she wants nothing to do with him. She's used that letter to vilify him whilst he's still lying in a hospital bed. And it's her relationship with her father. No one should pressure Meghan. If she doesn't want to speak to him, then don't speak to him. But she's the one that made a big deal about reaching out to him, only to further potentially damage his health. That could have been enough to cause more stress on his already fragile heart. And even if she just goes, right, I don't want to speak to him ever again, she could have just paid the medical bills. The very least. The difference of paying his bills isn't just clearing the balance so other people don't have to pick it up. It's the difference of giving him perhaps even better medical care. He might be able to pay for an extra specialist or a different type of treatment. There could be lots of things, even when it comes to him having physio to have prosthetic limbs. There's lots of things that she could do. And given Harry's charity work, working with organizations and charities that deal with prosthetics, you think there would have been a tiny bit between either of them to say, look, at the very least, we don't want contact, but we will cover this. They know he's got no money. They know that he moved to the Philippines probably so he could have better and cheaper medical care compared to America. And yet it shows the void of where Meghan's heart used to be. And I'm in doubts that she ever even had one.
Totally true, Tash. As a more positive note to end on, what did you think of the Christmas card coming from the Prince and Princess of Wales featuring the whole family, Tash? I think it was shot earlier this year.
Yes, it was. I thought it was lovely. It's part of a big photo shoot that they had done in spring. They have gradually been staging the photographs, releasing the photographs from this by photographer Josh Shinner. And we've had lots of photographs. You know it's from the same photo shoot because of the background and the clothes that they're wearing. But I honestly think it's lovely. That was very sweet with Princess Charlotte with her head on her father's shoulder. They're such a cute family, and I'm personally still really grateful. There were some people complaining that it wasn't festive enough. I mean, I really don't care. It's not whether they're wearing Christmas hats. It's about sharing this intimate family moment with the public. And given the way that mainstream media treated her, which I will never forgive them for, over that Mother's Day photograph, they're very lucky that they even get a photograph released at all, really, of this family. So I still think it's a lovely thing for them to have released for everyone. They know it makes royal watchers extremely happy. And those children, I cannot believe how quickly they are growing. As I said, Charlotte and George, a teen and a tween as of next year. The time really is flying, Dan.
It really is.
Meanwhile, Harry's out in California living his best life, probably sipping green juice while the UK burns with speculation. It's almost poetic, his winning the publicity war by refusing to fight it. Underneath the gossip and the memes, there's a serious question here. How does the monarchy survive in a world that doesn't need it anymore? Harry's name change is just a symbol, but it represents the wider fracture between tradition and modernity, hierarchy and individuality. For centuries, being royal meant you belonged to something greater than yourself. Harry's saying, maybe greatness isn't about obedience anymore. Maybe it's about authenticity. And that, ironically, might be the most royal thing he's ever done. So whether you think Harry's gone too far or not far enough, one thing's for sure, he's rewritten the rules of what it means to be royal in the digital age. William's upholding the legacy. Harry's challenging it. Meghan's surviving it. And the rest of us? We're just watching, because let's face it, the royal drama might be centuries old, but it's never been this bingeable.